hit that just in time. Kuhnu Bear actually made an appearance, but now he's gone. What's going on, everyone? Let's go ahead and muster up. Where you from? What you munching on? We'll get to me in a second. Let's see if Wiley will take my jib. Come here, Wiley. There he is. Nope, he's not interested today. That's okay. Back to me. Oh, and there's Pepe's. I told you there was 3. There he is. What's going on? Happy, what is today? It's been a long 5 days for me. Today's Sunday. Yeah, happy Sunday to you. Hope you went to church. I did not. I apologize for missing the Iridium launch yesterday. For those of you who are on Locals members, my tum-tum issues didn't get any better, and so I just stayed in bed for that one. But it actually started feeling better just like an hour or two ago. So we're good for this launch. This is a Dragon launch, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Let's talk about you really quick, because that's what I really care about is you guys. Justin DeLong, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Thanks for being in the chat. Locals members, I do have the Locals chat open. Meg2 Sith, Wilmington, North Carolina. What's going on, bro? We got Americans in the chat. America.
What, is this a communist country or something? I thought this is America.
Watching Kev and SpaceX, then gonna go play some hockey tonight. Oh, good for you, man. Cardio. What's up, Keith Mabe? It's Bureau 30 here in Houston, Texas. We got Texas in the chat.
Pulled him out of a place on Midgard called Texas.
Awesome McMurtry, what's going on? Master Chief, Indiana. Hello, neighbor. Bill Pizza. We got Michael from Norfolk, Nebraska. Sean from Illinois, plural. We have Mark from Lincoln, UK. That I'm just gonna assume that's close to London.
You sound like you're from London.
No idea. Jack from New Zealand, what's going on, man? I want to visit your island sometime. French fries and Coshocton. Nice. What's going on, Dave? East Coast in Canada, what's going on? Mokes, good to see you back here, dude. Where is it? Why do I have Canada way down here? Canada should be under California.
Welcome to French Canada.
San Diego. Speaking of California, I lived in San Diego for a bit. Loved it.
California. Beautiful.
And we have Denver. What's going on, Aaron?
Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine.
All right, last one. Alabama. Who is that? Just missed it. Who was from Alabama? I don't know. Someone's from Alabama.
You should go home to Greenbow, Alabama.
Yeah, Kevin from Ohio here. Good to see you guys. It looks like our astronauts are asleep. Let's go ahead and talk about the mission. Okay, let's go big screen now. If you listen closely, you can hear the lawyer wife yell at the doggos downstairs. Wiley's being a turd. He's being wily this morning, or this afternoon. I guess technically it's afternoon. So this is X2, Axiom Spaces, which is, like a private company. Their second commercial spacecraft or space flight on Dragon, which is a commercial spacecraft from SpaceX. And this capsule specifically is Freedom, its second mission, Freedom capsule. I believe it's launching on a new booster. At least the booster looks pretty new, so we'll say it's a new booster. And we got 4 passengers, 2 Americans, and there they are right there, and 2 from Saudi Arabia. What's up, Prescott and Kansas? So that's what we're tuning in for, and we're just under T-minus 15 minutes from liftoff. And we'll be dropping it in and out of their feed, listening in on that. Brazil, what's going on, man? Tampa, Florida, good to hear from you. A lot of pizza. Don't you guys know that pizza is a Friday thing? Actually, I'm going to eat some leftover pizza today. Now that my stomach's finally, I got solid poops now, finally. It's been 5 days. But it's not TMI. You need to know that. Now that I can actually eat food, I'm going to have some leftover pizza today. Because, Friday, stomach just wasn't having it. So we'll see. It might end up pushing me back again, but it might just be worth it. Andy in Colorado, good to hear from you, dude. We had pizza last night too. It's a Saturday. It's an all weekend thing, I guess. I always figured it as a Friday thing. I guess growing up, at school you had Fridays were pizza days, right, for lunch. But then eventually, like in my high school years, we always had pizza at home on Sunday nights. So I guess I'm a hypocrite. So I guess it's an all weekend kind of food. If it were up to me, it'd be an all week kind of food thing. I could just live on different kinds of pizza every day of the week. Eric Beavers, what's going on, Eric Beavers? Hey, man. Happy Sunday. I'm drinking heavy and mowing my lawn. Also fertilizing. Yeah, if there are ever two things that go together, it's heavy drinking and blades that are spinning very fast. Good for you, man. I mowed the lawn yesterday, actually. Sucked, but I got it done. I'm glad you're getting it done. Thanks so much, Eric. You're too kind, man, for that super chat. Appreciate you. Love you. Tell the family I said hello. Go ahead and get shwasted. It's Sunday. All right, let's turn up the volume here and see what they're talking about right quick.
The Falcon team is going to be performing that manual evaluation of the manifold pressure until T-minus 35 seconds. And if we do not pass those checks, the Falcon team will call a hold. If the evaluation passes, there will be no call made, and we will continue with the countdown. So again, at T-minus 35 seconds following the manual evaluation, if we do not pass those checks, the Falcon team will call a hold. But if there is no call, we have passed the checks, and we will continue with countdown.
Dragon copies. Manual evaluation. We'll call a hold if it's not passing the checks. Expect no call if it looks good.
Good read back.
That's Peggy Watson talking, the only real
I like that
astronaut.
comment. Thinking dry thoughts. Now we're talking about
The
propellant
rest are
loading.
space tourists.
RP1 fuel is completely loaded on the second stage. Fuel loading is continuing on the first stage. We're just about full. It'll finish up at the T-minus 6 minute mark. Densified liquid oxygen loading is continuing on the first stage and the second stage. Both stages well underway. First stage is nearing a completion, but it won't wrap up until T-minus 3 minutes. The second stage just began a few minutes ago. That'll wrap up at T-minus 2 minutes. As we get closer to launch, we will do various checkouts. One is the thrust vector controllers. These are what move the engine nozzles around on the first and second stage engine. And when we move those nozzles, we call it TVC wiggles. Those will be done inside 10 minutes. We'll also be doing checkouts of throttle valves on the engine. Now the range currently is go. Air and sea space are clear. The weather, you heard the briefing from the Corps up to the crew. We're watching one anvil cloud. It's within 5 miles, but it's got to just stay more than 3 miles away, and we will be go to fly.
If you're in Florida, start
the Dragon
blowing.
team also had reported they're working no issues. Everything is complete through the countdown. The comm checkouts are finished. The access arm is retracted. The launch escape system is armed. The crew is strapped in and ready to go.
Starship
We're
Tower
coming
there.
up on final instructions of the crew. We'll hear that at T-minus 10 minutes. They'll configure their displays for launch. They'll get the last messages, and then we'll go into the terminal countdown sequence. Let's listen into the countdown net.
All right, and back to me. Always I hear the lawyer wife yelling again at Wiley. Always good to hear Mr. John Instructor on the comm, man. He's my hero. Ryan, favorite Central Ohio pizza, Kevin? Like Tommy's and Massey's. Is it Massey's? I know in Starbase it's Massey's, but I don't know. I've never had Massey's or Macy's for Columbus. I guess my favorite pizza place would be, I really like Jets. I like a lot of, Costco has great pizza too. But Columbus specific, I like Buckeye Pizza. They're pretty good. Pioneer Pizza, I think that's like just a local town kind of place. But the overall best pizza you can get, at least in Ohio, because I really like New York style flavor. I like people like Chicago. I don't. I like New York. The huge slices that are really flimsy and greasy. You know, along came Polly. You got to blot the grease. I don't blot the grease. That's my favorite kind of pizza, New York style. But in Ohio, the best pizza you can get is actually in Dayton. I have family that lives in Dayton, and growing up, we'd always go down there. We have these family reunions, get-togethers at Marion's Pizza. Gotta have Marion's Pizza if you're ever in Ohio, man. Make the trip down to Dayton. They have a few different restaurant chains there, and just get yourself a large pepperoni and sausage. It's amazing. I kind of want it right now, actually. I might make that hour drive down there. No, I still have leftover just Pizza Hut pizza in the fridge right now, because I haven't had Pizza Hut in like at least 7 or 8 years. I was like, I miss their breadsticks, because Pizza Hut has the best breadsticks, right? Hands down. If you're in Louisiana, find Johnny's Pizza. Okay. Louisiana is one of the few states I haven't ever been to, at least not even crossed through. All right. So I'll keep that in mind. Go ahead and mention your state in the chat and what the best pizza is in your state for the rest of us. Cool.
We should actually hear Commander Peggy Whitson calling those
Whitson, not
abort modes
Watson,
out as they are ascending and really getting to orbit. She is tracking everything on both her tablet as well on her leg, as well as the crew display above her head. So she is able to identify at which mode they are entering, and those modes identify basically where and what sequence Dragon would take at that point in time during the flight. Now we're about 10 seconds away from that engine chill for the first stage.
Anybody have eyes on that anvil cloud? I don't think I've seen it yet.
Engine chill has started.
All right, right on time. We've opened the valves that are letting liquid oxygen and kerosene fuel down to the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. Our next major activity coming up at T-minus 6 minutes approximately. We'll hear the announcement that fuel loading is complete on the first stage. One other comment, while we were hearing the briefing to the crew at the T-minus 10 minute mark, we also heard reference to a call out that may or may not be made at T-minus 35 seconds. Many of the checkouts of the Falcon 9 are done by computer in the last minute. There is one today that requires an engineer to look at some data. If, for example, that system had an issue, that would be called out at T-minus 35 seconds. Right now, everything continues to look good, though, on Falcon 9.
We also heard in the briefing that they are tracking an anvil cloud that at the time of the briefing was about 5 miles away from the pad. They are tracking it. It just needs to stay outside of 3 miles, so everything still continues to look okay on that front. The next call out that we'll hear in about 30 seconds is that Dragon has transitioned to the terminal count configuration. That's basically an indication that the Dragon spacecraft has taken over the spacecraft's countdown and will at that point be on internal power.
Yeah, good call, Keith. So the destination for this mission is the space station, if you didn't know that. They're going to be staying there for like 16-ish days, give or take, depending on what happens. And they'll make their way back. Yeah, they're going to be putting these guys to work, even though at least one of them paid his own money, the pilot. He's a space tourist. He's taking a joyride, man. World's most expensive joyride. If I had the money, I'd probably do it too. Seeing a bunch of awesome pizza places to go visit. That would be a fun thing to do, is just take a cross-country trip, or even, across a world trip, and just go to the best pizza places in each state or each country. That's going to be my retirement gig. Called it. I'm doing that one. Don't steal that idea. What you whining about, Willis?
Back is retracting. That starts the sequence now in the ground computer to open the arms and recline that strong back about 2 degrees away. At liftoff, hydraulics will then pull the strong back to a position about 45 degrees away from the rocket as it flies out of the launch mount. See the arms opening up now around the second stage.
We should now be able to see that strong backward track just a couple degrees away from the launch vehicle. Upon liftoff, it will move back even further in order to clear the way for Falcon 9. Looks like we can start to see that movement now.
You ready for your din-din?
The
Say, I want pizza.
is what is utilized to horizontally integrate the vehicles while still in the hangar, as well as transport them horizontally to the launch pad and then raise them to their vertical launch position.
So, in case you didn't just see that, Wiley really has this hair sniffing fetish, so we call him Joe Biden. But he also likes to malligate because he's part Malamoy, and Malamoys like to use their mouth for everything. So we also call him Joe Biden, which is kind of ironic because Joe Biden has German Shepherds that like to bite. All right, 2-minute warning coming up. Get excited. Don't get scared, meow.
See the vehicle continuing to vent some of that gaseous or the liquid oxygen that has now vaporized.
Dragon is in terminal count and is on internal power.
We have
Must
a
be
live
Axiom
view
on the
there
right
of
there.
The SpaceX team here at headquarters in Mission Control on the left-hand side, as well as the Axiom team from their own Mission Control as well on the right.
It's leading. It's leading.
Dragon SpaceX for weather. Looks like the system has cleared, and we're looking like we're go for launch for
Oh,
weather.
it was the water tower tricked us.
All right, we've heard a good news information to the crew.
Dragon copies.
We're letting them know that it appears the weather is going to avoid the area.
That is
Good
great
job,
news
weather.
indeed.
And we just got to get past that
Just
T-minus
waiting now
35
for the
second
call-out.
mark.
Liquid oxygen load complete on the second stage.
Stage 2, LOX load is complete.
What's going on,
Dragon is in
GameCube for
auto
life?
idle.
Good to see you again, man.
Ground gas closeouts, expect loud venting.
At venting, we're now bleeding off excess pressure in the strongback. That's what's giving that large white plume as cold gas meets the warm Florida air and condenses the moisture. We're coming up on 1 minute where the flight computers will take over the sequence. Let's listen in to the launch of Falcon 9 with Dragon and the Axiom 2 crew.
FTS is armed, Falcon 9 is in startup and is now controlling.
Nice. Here we go, guys.
He's in countdown.
See if they make it past that 35-second mark here in 10 seconds.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
Dragon copies. Go for launch.
I guess we go. Here we go.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Quick prayer. Father God, protect our astronauts as they go to the second heaven. This is going to be awesome.
T-minus 15. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And liftoff, Falcon 9. Go Axiom.
Copy 1 Alpha.
Together we expand what is
Vehicle
possible
efficiency
in
on
low
range.
Earth orbit. Add Astra and Godspeed AX2.
Smooth riding.
Plus 30 seconds into this historic.
Speak up, John.
T plus 36 seconds into flight. A great view of Falcon 9 heading to space.
Power and telemetry is nominal.
A
Stage
great
1
call.
throttle down.
Power telemetry nominal. We're into the throttle bucket as the first stage is throttle down power on the Merlin engines in preparation for Max-Q.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Faster than the speed of sound as we're getting great views from the first stage camera looking back at Kennedy Space Center Complex 39A.
Stage 1 throttle up.
Max-Q.
We're out of the throttle bucket.
Stage 1 Bravo.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
We're at full power, and that call out 1 Bravo, that's another one of those abort modes. As we get higher and faster, the logic for Dragon, should a contingency occur, changes from stage to stage.
Impact chill is underway.
I love the sound of the
Chill
rocket.
announcement says we're getting the turbo pump on the second stage engine cooled down in preparation for its light up coming up in just another minute from now.
We don't get the sound of the rocket on the West Coast. They're too stingy.
Again, great views looking back, and you can see the contrail as we left 39A and the shadow of the contrail against the cloud deck around Florida.
Talking about
Now we're coming up
her.
3 big sequences and a view live of the crew inside Dragon. They're getting ready. We're going to get 3 events here. Main engine cutoff, stage
Stage 1 throttle
separation,
down.
and then we're going to light the second stage engine. We've heard the throttle down in preparation for stage separation.
Eco.
2 Alpha.
Stage separation confirmed.
Copy, 2
Yeah. Best roller coaster ride ever.
And back ignition.
Stage 1 boost back startup.
All right, stage separation. We've lit the second stage engine. The first stage is into the boost back burn, working its way back towards Cape Canaveral.
Coastal landing, bro.
Views on the left side, that's the first stage. Engines running as we come back to the launch site, or the landing site. Second stage engine nozzle is visible on the right side as we're powering the Axiom 2 crew into low Earth orbit on the way to the International Space Station.
Dragon's on the way to the dragon's nest, the lair. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but isn't this the first time a booster is...
Waiting for call out that the boost back burn is complete.
The booster that has been used for a Dragon mission is going to land on the coast?
Stage 1 boost back shut down.
Right on time. First stage completed the first of 3 burns heading back to the landing site. Second stage continuing on power and on trajectory.
Acquisition signal, Bermuda.
Head northeast, the Bermuda ground station.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Bermuda is listening in to the vehicle now.
Nominal trajectory.
And the crew hears the call out of a nominal trajectory. So 4 minutes into flight, everything continuing to go well. First stage heading back, and there's the crew on the second stage getting the ride into orbit to the space station.
All right, well, let's interrupt this awkward moment of silence and talk about the booster really quick. Yeah, I really love seeing those giant waffle makers, those giant fly swatters deployed too. Those grid fins you see there made of titanium, about the size of a compact vehicle. In the middle of them, you see some poofage going on by those, poofer blocks, as I call them, right there. Wait for it. There it is. That's the ACS system to kind of orient the rocket to point it to where it needs to go. And then once it enters the denser parts of the atmosphere, those grid fins will take over, kind of like putting your hand out the window of a moving car kind of thing. We'll do a entry burn coming up here in a few seconds. That's to slow down the booster so it doesn't slam into the denser parts of the atmosphere and kind of break, go kaput, as our fellow Germans would like to say. And then we'll do a landing burn with just 1 engine. Entry burns with 3 engines kind of in a row like Orion's belt. Landing burn is just 1. Then get away with that because there's barely going to be any fuel left by the time this thing lands, especially since they're taking it all the way back to the coast. Like, while the rocket's sitting on the pad, about 95% of the weight is all propellant. So, and then you got the glowing pumpkin, as you guys like to call it, on the right hand side there, the second stage Merlin vacuum engine, pushing the Dragon capsule to orbit. So yeah, world's best roller coaster ride, man. From the time they lift off to the time they actually get into a parking orbit or coast to the space station, they're pushed into that seat like the whole time. So it's kind of like, I don't know, at Disney World, the Rock and Roller Coaster, or Space Mountain. I guess that'd be an even better example, where it pushes you in the seat when it takes off. It's like that the whole time. Speaking of amusement parks, I'm looking to go to Cedar Point in a couple months. If you're ever in Ohio, stop in Dayton for Marion's Pizza and then go all the way up to the other end of the state in Sandusky on the Great Lakes and go to Cedar Point. World's best amusement park, even beats Disney World because they don't rip you off.
Now begun.
Stage
As
1 entry
much.
burn shutdown.
And conclusion of that entry burn, that burn helps to slow the vehicle down as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. The first stage sees high drag, which scrubs roughly 70% of the velocity by the time that
Dragon,
landing.
SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Love
Like
to
them
hear
clouds,
that
booster.
call out. Everything
Nominal trajectory.
Beautiful view of planet Earth coming to us from the second stage views on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, our first view of the Space Coast once again. This booster is attempting a landing at LZ-1.
Stage 1 transonic.
Whenever the
booster's
booster
now traveling near the speed of sound.
Whenever the booster comes out of the clouds like that and you see the ground below, it always reminds me of the
Coming to you from one
N64
of
game
our
Pilot
tracking
Wings, the
cameras.
skydiving levels. It's awesome. Brings me
We
back
can see
to
the
the
grid fins
nostalgic days.
actuating to help steer the booster down.
Listen in. Turn the volume up, people.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
They're not going to give us the sound.
Standing by to...
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
It made it. Bullseye? Question mark? Please clap.
There you
Stage 1
can,
landing confirmed.
you can see that first stage has landed back at LZ-1. This is the first time that we have performed a land landing on a crew mission.
I wasn't clapping for you, Wiley.
Coming up next will be second engine cutoff, or SECO, and that's where after that engine cuts off, the second stage will coast for a few minutes until Dragon is commanded to separate.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
We're expecting SECO to occur in about 20 seconds.
Astronauts in their space wellies. Killer boots, man. They do look like
Commander
wellies, don't
Peggy
they?
Whitson continuing to call out the abort modes.
Pico.
27,000 clicks
on-time
per
shutdown
hour.
of that second engine.
She's
Also
happy.
confirming that the launch escape system is now disarmed.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
All right, and there's that call out. We can confirm good orbital insertion.
Copy. Nominal insertion.
Dragon, SpaceX, launch escape system disarmed.
We can see the crew playing with their
Dragon
harnesses.
copy.
Was that a
Now
glove?
that they are in zero
What-
G, which
oh,
I
okay,
think
no.
we just got a view
Yeah.
of our
What
zero
is
G
it?
stuffy.
It looks like an astronaut toy. Is it Rocket Man?
Clearly the crew is having fun already. Right after liftoff, I think we heard a laugh coming from Commander Peggy Whitson, which, being a NASA legend and one of the most decorated astronauts of all time, it's amazing to hear that even a space veteran as she
Expected loss of signal, Cape.
still has fun at liftoff. The next event that we have coming up at just around T plus 12 minutes is Dragon separation. That's where the Dragon spacecraft and trunk, so collectively referred to as the Dragon spacecraft, will separate from the second stage.
Acquisition signal, Newfoundland.
After that separation, we will begin to deploy the nose cone, which exposes the forward bulkhead thrusters as well as the forward hatch.
Is it a bear in a spacesuit?
Forward
It's
hatch is
something in a
what
spacesuit.
the capsule utilizes to autonomously dock to the International Space Station.
Check out her pen. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, throw the plushy thing, the zero G
Going
indicator in
from
front of the
left to
camera, bro.
right. Everyone's having fun, clearly. We have
He's a
mission
stylist,
specialist
Kevin, not a
Rayana
pen.
Barnawi. To the right of her is pilot John Schaffner. Then we have Commander Peggy Whitson. And on the far right, mission specialist Ali Al-Karni. We can see that the excess strap on some of the harnesses, as well as the writing utensil for their tablets, they continue to play around with as they are experiencing 0G for the first time. At least we can say that for 3 of the 4 astronauts on board today. Now we are standing by for Dragon separation, which is expected to occur in the next few seconds.
Show us the trunk cam. What junk they got in that trunk.
Wow.
No junk.
You can see live on your screen that Dragon trunk and capsule. That's a really cool view. That's actually
SpaceX launch director. A very great flight. Wish you safe travels. A few words from our chief engineer as well.
Thanks for putting your trust in the Falcon 9 team. Hope you enjoyed the ride to space. Have a great trip on Dragon. Welcome home to 0G, Peggy.
That was SpaceX Chief Engineer Bill
Happy to be
Gerstenmaier.
here. It was a phenomenal ride.
Her and Peggy probably go way back. Out there you see that ACS system in action
sure you
there.
share the joy of 0G with your crew.
We will do that.
All right. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up on my end so I can feed these guys. But even more importantly, so I can feed me. I'm quite hungry because I haven't eaten all day because of diarrhea. That's the way to end the show. Yeah. Oh, man, check it out. I still can't make out exactly what that 0G indicator is. It's something inside of an astronaut snoot. Snoot? Suit. Snoot. We'll call it snoot from now on, though. You guys have a great what's left of your weekend. Enjoy it. Don't do anything I would do. And have an awesome work week. All right? I'll see you toward the end of it. Until that time, Godspeed.